She was a mother to 3 children, an active member of her church, came from a supportive family, was loved by a devoted husband. But her world fell apart when that devoted husband and her loving father had involuntarily admitted her to a psychiatric hospital.
Sonja Wasden is now sharing her journey with us, from depression to an eating disorder, thoughts of suicide, harming herself. Now she successfully deals with her mental illness, and she joins us to share her story. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. It's such an important topic, mental illness.
Yes.
One of the biggest topics of our time. First, I'm just curious, when all of this happened to you, involuntarily committed to a mental health facility, how do you deal with that, and what did you do to get to this point where you are now?
Well, obviously nobody wants to be going to a mental hospital. And I knew I was in a lot of pain, but I didn't want to admit there was something wrong with me. I hid it from everyone, and I was in daily pain, but I didn't want to admit there was something wrong with me. So I went to the psych ward, got out, saw therapy, got medicine, and tried to rebuild my life as a mother, a wife, a church member, but I still kept it hidden, and I still continue to struggle through it. But through DBT, dialectical behavior therapy, which is, I think, the best therapy out there, it gave me a life worth living. It changed my life.
Wow.
Part of the stigma about mental illness or mental health is that people just don't want to get help because people don't talk about it and they don't deal with it. So what's your advice to people who might be in a similar situation or just not feeling completely healthy in all aspects of their life, and what should they do about it?
They need to stand up and voice what's going on in themselves. I think what you said, there's a stigma. You think, I'm broken, there's something wrong with me. And you have to come forward realizing this is just like diabetes. This is, you're ill, you can get better, but you've got to realize that a mental illness is just like a physical illness, and there's no shame in that. And that you need to come forward and voice to your loved ones. Go to a therapist, a doctor, the hotlines, go somewhere and start talking about the things that you're feeling and thinking. And a lot of times you can't even make sense of what you're thinking and feeling. You just know you're in pain and you're struggling and you don't know where to go. And the first thing I think is to go to a loved one, a good friend, and start talking.
Right. We've seen in recent years too, mental illness not as a taboo subject as it used to be. It's becoming more mainstream. People are talking about it more. Is that the right approach, you think, to just make sure that we're all bringing it in the discussion?
Absolutely. I think that it needs to be more and more talked about so people can feel like they can come forward and talk, and people become more aware about it so they know how to talk with someone who's struggling, to show them the love and compassion instead of looking at them like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Because if they're not informed and they're not experiencing that, then the other person may feel judged.
You went to a psychiatric hospital not really on your own will, right?
No.
So do you regret or hold resentment against your loved ones who admitted you to the hospital so you could get help?
You must have been angry.
Initially, I was angry. I mean, I had 2 security guards escorting me out and admitting me. I did not want to go. I did not think I belonged there. I think this label, when you have mental illness, of I'm crazy, and I kept saying to them, I'm not crazy. And I think we need to take that label away and realizing, no, mentally ill people are not crazy. They are just ill and they need help to get well. And I didn't want to have a mental illness. Nobody wants to have it, and so I fought it. But no, I wasn't. I mean, in the beginning I was angry, but for the long term, I'm so grateful that they did what had to be done to get me help.
Yeah. You have a book out too, talking about this. People can get a hold of it. Tell us about where people can find that.
They can find my book, An Impossible Life, on Amazon, and it takes you through the compelling journey of mental illness and how that affects a family.
Yeah.
We're so glad you're talking about it and telling people your story.
Thank you so much.
Sonja Wasden, thanks so much.